Welcome to Unpacking Culture. I'm Alex Haynes.
I'm Lanelle.
Hey, Tiff, how are you?
Hey, Alex, I'm great. How are you?
I'm glad you're great because I'm great.
Wow.
Let's put our phones on silent.
Let's do. Wow.
Let's pretend like we know what we're doing. Yeah, let's put our phones on silent and pretend that we know what we're doing. All right. So, welcome to Unpacking Culture. I'm Alex Haynes, and this is Tiff Lanelle. And we do this thing. So we are here every Wednesday, live at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We also have a podcast that's available for your listening on every place that you can listen to a podcast. So Spotify, iTunes, Boss FM, Google, Stitcher.
For your listening pleasure.
For your listening pleasure.
I just had to call out my shirt because it's my 10-year reunion week. So I had to wear my shirt in honor of that. You rude. I care.
Okay. Well, my mic's kind of in the way today, but at least look, we're working on improving the sound. So if you've been listening for any number of weeks, you know that we are not without blemish. Okay. So there will be technical difficulties. I'm not claiming that, but there will be because it's just natural. It's just kind of what happens, and we roll with the punches, and it's all good. So, a little bit. Did you get any feedback off of the show last week? Because I got some interesting comments.
I did, but yours were probably more interesting than mine. So I would love to hear the feedback that you got.
Why do you think so?
Because mine was
interesting people just like me.
I do. One, we know a lot of the same people. Two, I don't know. My feedback that I got was pretty much, wow, you really felt the way about that topic. But that it was.
Well, I do, because I do feel like marijuana needs to be legal. I just think
marijuana needs to be legal. It's just a plant that should you so happen to light it, y'all know the rest. But I think that a lot of the feedback that I got was that we just gave a lot of good information. So I was happy to hear that. What was
things to think about? Well, the goal of this show is now and always will be to have the conversations that you should be having with your friends and your family. So if we don't stimulate conversation, then we're not doing our job. We're not doing the right thing. So we want you to have the conversations. We want you to really, really kind of get focused and do that thing that way. All right. So on that note,
I had a song in my head.
Pardon my, you had a song?
I did, because you said do that thing. So I was like, do that thing, do that thing, do that thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this week we're going to talk about some things that all of you like to say you're doing, but you never do.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yikes. I felt kind of way, but y'all see, I already felt like I just wanted to go off. Like I said it out of my mouth, then I felt it. I really felt it. Because when something goes wrong, or somebody of the other another persuasion, I said the other. I said that right. When somebody from the other persuasion happens to say a word, or happens to insinuate something, or they use a racial epithet. I'm actually, because I felt so much passion, I'm trying to bring myself back down. When someone is racially insensitive, or maybe you're dealing with a manager that is intentionally, manager that's intentionally,
we've all had those.
Or we have organizations, that mistreat people,
right,
routinely, in action, in deed, in pay scale, in discipline,
right.
The organization, and it's not limited to, but including public schools, United States government, NFL. Should I continue?
I mean, you on a roll.
I'm just
All the people, all the organizations, all the people.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I feel like it happens. One, it happens more than we talk about.
Okay.
Two, I think it's always happened. You know, I think people started to say a while ago, "Oh, all of this stuff is just coming out." No, it's always been there. We have social media, we have cameras, we have phones. Everybody's always carrying a phone. Everybody's always being recorded. So I think it's always happened. And it's always been there, and it's always been underlying, even when it's not in our face. We just have more methods of bringing receipts to the table when stuff happens nowadays.
I actually agree with that. I think that nothing that we see is new,
Right.
But now we see everything.
Right. Okay. Exactly. Everything. All the things. We see all the things.
Do you think that while we know we see everything, do you think that people consider that? I mean, I just think about two things. I can tell you two stories that I've seen today that happened within the last less than 5 days. There's a Maryland police officer, Maryland, it's actually Montgomery County in Maryland. And of course, if your ears are sensitive, this is not the show for you. I asked you to put your kids to bed already. So I'll say what was said. There was Montgomery, Montgomery County in Maryland. A police officer approached 4 Black men and I don't know. See, this is why I don't get the passion is coming back. White people, like, do you think that like mocking us is cute? Because he was having a conversation, like he was having a conversation with she says it was 4 people, so it's probably like 4 niggas, you know, they was chilling. And he was like, "What y'all niggas about to do?" She walks up to them and says, "What y'all niggas about to do?" I lost your sound. Oh, you didn't say anything. I thought I lost your sound, but no.
I'm here. I just lost some words.
I take it you didn't see that story.
No, I saw enough today. You know, sometimes you just got to turn your phone off, turn your alerts off.
She said, "What y'all niggas about to do?" Then one of them said back to her, "You racist bitch." He said, "Why would you say something like that? Like, y'all always been racist." And she said, "Oh, now we're speaking English."
What? Why are you
really? This is just an example. It's an example of
Jesus
things, and I have to set the stage for this, right? The example is they say these things. Now, this is we should have been canceled police departments and started our own, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. We should have been canceled them.
Right.
For some reason, Black y'all have it in your mind that you still need to call them for emergencies, and it baffles me. But yeah, so that's one thing. Another story that I saw today, obviously we work at a radio and a news network. There were 4 teachers and a principal who held up a noose and started smiling.
And they look happy in the picture.
Oh, they looked like they were singing "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands."
Right. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. What?
And I was like, I really, if there was a picture that I wish I would have been prepared with today, it's that one. I happen to have it with me, so I'm actually going to show you because I think it's just vital for people to see how happy they are. They're really, really happy.
They're really happy.
And yes, that is a noose. And to make things worse, I need to make matters worse for those of you that can see it. They have been suspended with pay. Why are we paying them? For what are we paying them for?
Why suspend it?
For why?
Why not terminate it?
There's a story that goes behind it if you want to hear it.
I mean, not really. It doesn't matter.
My point exactly, right? There's a full story that goes with it, and
it doesn't matter. There's no situation in which a noose is funny. Not one. None. Just like there's no situation in which a swastika is a joke. Not a one. Like, people have to understand these symbols mean something. I remember I was in, and I'm going to veer off and come back. I remember, I think I was in middle school, and I had a classmate of mine bring the Confederate flag with him to class. And I, in the politest manner.
That happened all the time.
Well, this story always rings out in my mind because I very politely asked him to put it away. And he said, well, this is, a sign of my history and ancestry. I said, okay, well, let me tell you about what that means to my ancestry. And I sat in biology class and educated him.
Did he care?
No.
Oh. He was like, I wanted to know if he cared because I had the same type of situation with somebody who was biracial. And he had his Confederate flag. And I was like, bro, why is this? First of all, this Ford pickup truck, why are you, and why is this Confederate flag flying from your truck? And it seems we've had the same conversations, but they don't seem to care. And it seems like we've had conversations about the N-word forever. And y'all think it's funny.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's not. And some people, take heed. When I went to go see the Carters, and Jay-Z has a song that's full of nigga, and there was a interracial couple sitting next to me, and not that I don't know if I would have said anything or not. It probably would have depended on how I felt. But when Jay-Z started doing that song, I just looked at her. She didn't see me look at her, or maybe she did out of her peripheral eyes, but she just sat there like, hell no, not tonight, not on this good night. No. Like, I don't know.
If said he's sitting there because I know she damn well says it at home.
I don't know because
I don't really know what goes on, but I feel like
good.
I mean, maybe she didn't say. Was she surrounded by blackness?
It was the Carters concert, so I mean.
That doesn't mean she was surrounded. I was gonna say that doesn't mean she's surrounded by blackness.
Let me add.
I went to a Jay-Z concert and it was literally mostly all white people.
No, in Atlanta.
But if you think that they say ninja instead, like I just picture them like happy in their little Mustangs, like nigga, I said it. The fuck.
In case we didn't already say it, put your children to bed. If you're in the car with your kids listening to this podcast, now is not the time. You want to turn us on another time.
I think, well, I don't even know how I feel about that because kids are in school saying it. I said it in school.
Kids are in school saying, and probably, well, I got called, the first time I got called a nigger, hard ER, I was in kindergarten. I think I was in kindergarten the first time I got called one. Yeah. So kids are definitely saying it in school. It's not okay. But getting back to the stories, companies, organizations, CEOs, founders, presidents, y'all are being recorded, mayors, councilmen, congressmen, all of y'all, male, female, you're being recorded. Okay?
They don't care. And so this usually causes us to want to do what? Cancel them because they don't care.
Right. So we don't care because you think you're untouchable. And some people have been. We tend to cancel you. Okay. We as a culture tend to cancel you.
Somewhat.
And in some cases, it is successful. And in some cases, it is not.
I would argue in many cases, it is not.
In most cases, it is not.
Okay.
Now let's go over, before we go over the ones that have not, or which one do you want to go first? You want to go over the ones that have not been, or or the ones that have?
Let's talk about the ones that have not been. Let's do it that way.
Biggest, most recent one, Michael Jackson. Is he canceled or not?
Well, no, because A, they lied.
I'm so glad I have water in my hand, in my mouth.
I mean, let's just be honest. You can't even find that documentary anymore.
You cannot.
It's gone. It's not on demand. It's not nowhere because they lied. They blatantly lied. And they definitely didn't want to owe the Jackson estate. Listen, they didn't want to do that, but they did lie.
So cancel culture didn't happen. That's to the side. Gucci. It's Gucci. I don't think that one was. I don't even think many people know that people were trying to cancel Gucci, to be honest with you.
Again, I would actually go with that even if they did know, they probably didn't care enough. Like, I just don't feel like, I felt like what Gucci did was stupid, but I don't think it got the publicity that most things get, if I'm being honest.
I don't disagree with that. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it did not get the publicity that a lot of other situations have gotten?
If you want my honest opinion, it's because I think Black people specifically are very flashy and they like to flash their Gucci, and they didn't want to let go of that one. So they didn't cry.
Argentina?
They didn't. I mean, I would never say that because I say they didn't cry Nigeria, but they didn't cry over it. That's what I think. That may or may not be the case, but that's my thought.
I one think that most people didn't even know about it. And two, again, like you said, I think if people did know about it, they were like, okay, but I like my Gucci. So I like my Gucci.
Right. And if you like your Gucci, you like your Gucci, and that's going to be Gucci for you.
Okay.
The end.
The end. What about H&M?
Sorry about that. Lots of feedback. H&M.
Wow, that was a deep sigh.
Because here's the thing, right? I do think that people canceled H&M. And I think that they canceled H&M intentionally. I think that they tried to cancel them. But the problem with boycotts is they have to be given firm deadlines. You need for a boycott to be successful. And I don't even think we didn't even go into this in our discussion in our meeting about this, but for it to literally be successful, you need a solid call to action.
Now, I don't disagree with that.
No, I'm telling you, for any type of protest to actually work, you need a solid call to action. So that means that if it's literally going to work, like if you want it to work and you don't want it to be a problem, then you need to say, we're going to start at this time. You need to be as specific, or as some people say, Pacific as possible. You need to be as specific as possible. And it also needs to have an end date. Or if the end date is indefinitely until we get, but you at least need those three things. You know what I'm saying? You need to have at least, we're going to start this day, we're going to end this day, we're going to, that's what you need. And so with the H&M boycott, I don't feel like we had that.
But it was still a little bit
successful. It was.
Somewhat. I mean,
you need a plain black shirt. And when you need a plain black shirt or a cheap suit, something that's going to fall apart.
Or a cheap, all right. I mean,
I think this is an H&M shirt that I got on, but I really think that I got it because I needed it really quickly.
You know what? Is that the shirt that you got recently when we went somewhere?
No, this is you know, we haven't even really hit spring, but this is a semi-summer, spring summer joggers type shirt.
Okay, so we didn't go over what the two last companies that we just mentioned had. So Gucci had a blackface sweater, and H&M had the little black boy and the coolest monkey in the jungle. Is that what the shirt said? Coolest monkey in the jungle. The mother came out and was like, I think it's fine. People were then mad at the mother. It was a thing. Now, they did have a decline in their sales in 2018. So it worked for a little bit, at least. I don't know too many people, but I will say, I guess in recent months, I've heard some people say, oh, I need to run into H&M real quick to get a little something, to get a little cheap black shirt, or to get a little, blouse, a little skirt, because I got this little tiny thing and I don't want to spend more than $15 on what I need. So, excuse me, I have heard people in recent months say that they need to run in there, but in 2018, they did have $4.3 billion worth of inventory unsold. That's billion with a big P as in boy, as in the black boy that had in the jungle shirt in the advertisement. So it did something. I don't know how long that something lasted, but it did do something. So I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But $4.3 billion worth of inventory unsold. And that was the first decline in 2 decades. I got to read my notes, y'all. Operating profit. Lord, I need coffee. Operating profit fell to 62% in the first quarter. So 4.3 billion in inventory unsold, first drop in 2 decades, drop of 62%. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, those aren't small numbers.
Did you boycott?
I mean, sometimes cancel culture works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes a boycott works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think that when it does work, it can be beneficial. It can send a message. So H&M, I haven't seen, I don't see nearly as many people walking through the door as I used to. So I will say that. I will say that I think that.
Did you boycott H&M?
I don't know. I don't know. I think that it can work. It can have benefits.
I'm taking it. You can't hear me. Maybe not.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Nope. Can't hear you.
Okay. All right.
Can't see you either.
You can't see me either?
You jinxed us. You said we would have technical difficulties, and now we have them.
How about now?
I can see you and hear you. There we go.
Wow.
I was just talking away because I was like, well.
Interestingly enough, like I could hear me. And
well, I only knew you were still there because, I like to have the stream up. So I was like, well,
the peanut gallery could hear me too. And I was just asking you questions. I was going on and on. I was like, did you boycott H&M? Did you do that? Did you do that?
I couldn't hear you. I knew you were still there because I had the stream playing. But I was just talking away because I couldn't see you and I couldn't hear you. You jinxed us. We were doing just fine, and you jinxed us. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't say I boycotted H&M. I've never been a huge H&M shopper anyway, so there was no need for me to boycott it for real. I was just kind of like, I mean, all right, whatever. Another store I just won't go into, so it doesn't matter. So I didn't really have to boycott. I didn't really go in that store anyway. If I want a cheap shirt, I go into Target, as some like to call it. And when I want a nice blouse, I go into New York & Company. So nothing for me to boycott.
All right. What is a boycott that you did participate in?
The NFL. I did participate in the NFL boycott, which was very hard for me. I am one of those people. I'm one of those people that yells at the TV very passionately.
Surprise. I mean, I boycotted the NFL for 2 years. It's probably the hardest thing that I have ever done, ever.
Okay. I would rather do it fast than to continue to not watch. I mean, so let me ask this while we're on the topic. Can we watch now that Cap has been paid?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. You would think you were outside and not in the studio. It was very hard, but that was definitely a boycott that I participated in. Because I felt like they were missing the point. They being the NFL. I felt like the league was completely missing the point of the boycott.
I don't think they were missing the point at all. I think that a racist got involved. And the racist started to shout his racist rhetoric on what they were really doing from his perspective. And, like once Donald Trump made it about kneeling and the flag, the protest was never about the flag. It was about the mistreatment of Black men and women by the police.
Yeah.
And so once the rhetoric from the White House became, oh, well, he's disrespecting the flag by kneeling, which no one else ever in the world has ever been accused of disrespecting anything by kneeling.
And to be clear,
that's the one like most, and I don't want to jump into that. It's just gonna piss me off. But yeah.
The ironic thing is a veteran is actually the one that told Kaepernick that was the most respectful way to conduct the protest. And a lot of people did not see that interview. It was filmed where he went and had a conversation with the veteran who was really trying to understand the protest because he didn't understand what was going on and why he was doing it and all of that. And they had a conversation about it. And he was like, I get it. I understand. If you kneel, that's still very respectful while still fighting for your cause. And he was supportive of it.
Also, most people in the military understand that they're fighting for the right for us to protest fighting for us to have the right to protest.
Right.
That's what this country is all about.
Right. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Black people that did not boycott the NFL.
Well, go ahead.
Because I want to and here, I don't want to misrepresent anything, right? You don't need everybody to participate for it to be successful.
Right.
But it has become such a trendy thing to do. People feel like, what y'all are, and I am talking to the people that are probably listening to this on a podcast, like, I feel like it's for you to take my football away, bitch, fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really what I mean. You first of all, everyone wants to get behind it. Hashtag this. It's a cute hashtag on your Instagram, even though you ugly. Hashtag this, hashtag that, hashtag this, hashtag free our girls. But aside from let me just be honest, aside from you tweeting that or posting a picture, bring back our girls. And then what y'all do as soon as hashtag bring back our girls became a thing, y'all went to the shits with the memes. Michelle Obama was holding up a sign saying everything but bring back our girls.
Accurate.
Let's be real, because it's funny and it's cute. And so the same thing happens with protests. Now, I'm not confused, because I think if we look at history and we talk about the things that matter, right? We go back and we talk to the freedoms that we have. You people don't realize that it was never the masses that changed anything. Because normal people don't change the world. Sorry if I'm bursting your bubble tonight, but normal people seldom change anything. You go right along with everybody else. That's why you tweeting the same damn thing. Half of y'all was tweeting like, I'm with Cap.
While watching the NFL.
Touchdown. Wow. Next tweet. Which Cap you with?
Right.
Now, like, but when we go back to the history of America and things like that, like even the Montgomery bus boycotts. First of all, most of y'all's granddaddies and grandmammies, they was not marching on against it. Like they were not with these people at all. They was not with them shooting in the gym. They was not doing that. All right. People did not like Martin Luther King when he was alive.
Accurate.
Yes, as we sit and quote his speeches and his sayings and all of that on these holidays and everything, nobody was really with him. They actually thought he was really annoying and wanted him to shut the hell up
and stop causing trouble.
Who gets on y'all's nerves right now that's always talking about what y'all should do? Like, yeah, same thing. They was not here for Martin Luther King. They was not trying to walk instead of ride the bus.
Ooh. That's tough.
It was 10 people, 12 people that had sit-ins at these lunch counters and said, I'm going to sit here. You're going to sit on me. Right. 2 people at a time. Yep. I'm going to sit here and you're going to spit on me and you're going to, come on. So we could talk about why cancel culture doesn't work, but I think the culture doesn't work. I think canceling things and standing for something does work. I just don't think the culture of it works. It didn't work then. It doesn't work now. And do you remember learning about groupthink?
Yes.
And why it's so dangerous?
Right.
It's so easy, but it's so dangerous.
But go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I do think, and when you just said that, most people's Grammys and Gams and all of that were not shooting with the folks in the gym, it made me think about here in Atlanta, the Center for Civil and Human Rights. And part of, if you have not been, I think everybody needs to go. I think I've been 3 or 4 times. But there is a part in that center that shows the pictures of the Freedom Riders. And like half of them are white. So in getting to the groupthink that you were about to lead into, I think that it takes more than, and we were talking about this earlier when we were talking about politics offline, when we were talking about politics, about we can't win 2020 by ourselves. No group can win 2020 election by themselves. It's going to take all of us, or a majority of us, actually coming together, brown, white, black, yellow, purple, green, whatever you are. It takes a majority to change.
To your point, I was about to say groupthink is very dangerous. That said, sometimes it is necessary to be dangerous.
Right.
We need some dangerous activity to get this asshole out of the White House. We need to be dangerous. We need to think dangerous. We need to act dangerous. And I'm not talking about being reckless
or violent necessarily.
I'm saying,
so before Martin died, he did switch over to Malcolm X's side.
And yeah, Martin died as Malcolm, but right. And I'm not to say, I get it. I get the nonviolent approach and all that. I somewhat believed that at some point, but I was never have been, never will be. All of the peddling that the white people try to do, what would Martin Luther King do? First of all, who are you talking to?
I don't think I've ever had a white person ask me that.
No one ever asked you that?
I don't think so. If they did, I must have blacked out because I didn't want to slap a hoe.
I could tell you at that moment, I was nice because I cussed.
I don't think I've ever had a non-brown person ask me that. I'm not sure I would have a good reaction if anybody asked me that, actually. I'm not sure what my reaction would be. No, it's just not in your best interest to ask me that.
Okay. Well,
but it's also not in your best interest to ask me what would Jesus do, because I got an answer for you on that as well. So I'm probably just not the best person to ask what would anybody other than me, myself, and Tiffanie Lanelle do. Don't ask.
This isn't completely right. This is not completely related to this topic. But you know, it's our show. We can sidebar if we want. And you said brown, and I have a question for you. Do you? I understand the marginalization of people of color. I do. Mm-hmm. I understand that. I was having a conversation with a very close friend of both of ours this week. I understand the marginalization. I believe, as most Black people have, we are actually one of the most forgiving races. We're ready to accept people, you know, and apologize. That we accept your apology. We're fighting for you too. We all in this fight together. But when do we advocate for ourselves? So, and I say that not to say that we stop advocating for them. But when do we advocate for ourselves? Because, and I've said this before, our struggle is similar, but it's not the same.
I don't disagree. And I
we
think
aren't marginalized, you know, for the same reasons,
right,
or in the same ways. And so I'll advocate for a person of color or for other brown people. But I'm more intentional, and I had changed my the way that I say that. I had changed the way that I said, and I would say brown and more politically correct and people of color and all of that. But I want to make it staunchly clear, mostly for our listeners, and that's why I'm doing this right now. Is that I'm here for Black people. I'm here for Black people, and I'm here for Black people because nobody else is. We put our neck out on the line, and not to say we don't have allies, and you know, not to. I'm not an individual shot. I'm not saying that you can't go find one, and you're not gonna pick a handful of them out of the the abyss. But in the grand scheme of things, ain't nobody here for us but us.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I went to the grocery store. I was proud of myself. I actually, instead of having them delivered, I actually went to the grocery store. But I went to the grocery store this past weekend, and I was walking out. And as I was walking out, a couple of brothers handed me a card. And I mean, the area I live in, I get handed stuff all the time. So I just thought they were advertising for something. But then when after he handed it to me, he said other side. And I said, okay. So I kept walking. I got to the car, and I was like, let me just look and see what's on this card. So I flipped the card, and it had a logo on one side, but then on the other side that he was telling me to look at, it just said, "You matter." And I just thought that was amazing, that they were walking around to the Black women that they saw, that they ran into or could catch, and they were just handing us these cards that just say, "You matter."
Was this a Black man or a person of color?
This was a Black man. I said brother.
Oh, okay. This
was a Black man, and he just was like, "You matter," and it's stuff like that.
Just wanted to know. I was curious. I did not want to derail the show and make it, you know. But I think it's important that we talk about us, because we are important. We are important, and I think if we're going to address us and how we lie about canceling things. We got to also talk about like, because I never thought about this till right now. But when it really comes down to it, the Indian people I know, brown as hell, was still watching the NFL.
Absolutely.
Boldly. They didn't even think cap applied to them at all.
Absolutely. But with that being said, somebody was doing it with us.
No, you're right. You're right. And I think it worked. It worked.
At the end of the day, their ratings were the lowest this year that they've ever been. I think it was 100.7 million viewers this year, down from 111.3
in a decade.
Yeah.
And what I was saying to a lot of people when it was going on, people were like, well, that's not working. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Oh, let me tell you why it worked. Because the goal of any protest is to cause an inconvenience to get people to pay attention.
Yep.
That's the goal. So when you are inconvenienced enough that you want me to stop, and I can tell you white person after white person was just like, even the reason Papa John's pulled out from being the national sponsor of the NFL is because they said it is causing an inconvenience and our customers are frustrated and our sales are down. It's working. That's what you call working. What were we getting? We like, just because you don't get the immediate result or what you think that you should be getting at that point does not mean it didn't work.
Right. And it took some time. This NFL protest took some time, but through that, and we'll talk about Papa John's too, because that was a whole different situation, including the NFL. But that NFL protest, and I know some Black people who didn't participate, and they were like,
I know plenty. No, shout out to my parents, but they have season tickets.
I know a couple of people that have season tickets. But
I was like, they were like, are you watching the game? No. And when you call next week, I'm still not watching.
Still not watching because the TV's in my house. Choose ye this day, but it's for me in my house. Two different scriptures, but you get the point. But there were enough of us of all races that said, you know what? This is important enough that I don't have to watch this form of entertainment because people are literally dying. Now, it didn't stop us from dying, but it got the point across, if nothing else, at least in my opinion, that we can make a difference. This made an impact. It was the worst Super Bowl, most boring Super Bowl. It had, like you said, the lowest ratings in a decade. It was just bad. It was just bad. And I'm not gonna lie, I think part of it was people are sick of seeing the Patriots win. I'm gonna just be real. People are sick of seeing them win. People are sick of seeing them win.
I mean, I think that's part of it, but I really don't think that was it. I think that they went out of their way to ignore us. They took the Super Bowl to Atlanta, and then they brought Maroon 5 to Atlanta, the mecca of Black entertainment, period. And you chose Maroon 5. So even if you wanted us to watch, you got Adam Levine's white ass. And I love Maroon 5, and I love Adam Levine. But you got his white ass up here singing this song with this high-pitched ass voice. Like, this is what people come to Atlanta for. Nobody goes to Atlanta and thinks, like, you don't go to it. You think you go, really? You go to Atlanta and you think about Waffle House, you think about Magic City, you think about thickness. I think about thickness because when I went back to Atlanta, a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh my God. I had forgot that the thickness was like that. Like, geez, damn. That's what you think about. And you know what Adam Levine looks like? He looks like this. He's like this big.
Again, love Adam. Love Adam to death. Really do. But you didn't get a Usher, a Monica, a Ludacris, a JD, nobody?
Migos. You didn't get Outcast. You get like legendary. CeeLo. Right. Hell, you could have got Sierra. Jesus, and nobody wants to hear that. But you could have got Sierra.
Damn, Alex.
No, I mean, let's be honest. And she keeps on with these albums. She keeps releasing albums, girl. We just want to see your pictures and your family, your little cute family, your little cute kids. You got a cute dog. We don't want no more music. We don't want no more music at all. But you could have got Sierra. You chose Maroon 5, which is almost equivalent to like choosing. Like, really? Like Bon Jovi. That's like choosing Bon Jovi for like, no, yeah, y'all messed up. You messed up. And right after that, you know what they did? They paid that man. They apologized. They said, please sign this, because we don't want to admit that we were definitely wrong.
That we had you effed up.
Oh, yeah, all the way.
All the way. We don't know how much he got, but for Cat to sign something and say, all right, we good. He got all the coins. I'm willing to bet money. But I mean, the fact that Cat got a sponsorship or a deal, I'll say, with Nike, and their stock went up, and the NFL stock, for lack of a better way to put it, because their ratings were low, went down. Listen, and I'm not saying that the Patriots had a majority to do with it, but there were a couple of people that I know that did watch during the season that didn't watch the Super Bowl because they were like, I'm actually sick of seeing they asses win. No, not watching that. It was few and far between, but if I know a few people, I'm sure everyone knows one or two people in their circle that felt that way. But at the end of the day, it worked. Their ratings were low. It worked. Now let's talk about Papa John's, shall we?
Be my guests.
So for those who missed it, Papa John's, Papa, he was canceled. In him being canceled, Papa John's was consequently also canceled. Now, I will not lie. I know a couple, probably no more than 2 Black people who have had Papa John's after or post cancellation and actually got sick. And they were like, you know what? That's what I get for going against the boycott and the protest. I shouldn't have ate this crap anyway. That's exactly what I get. I've learned my lesson. I'm back to the protest I go. But and I have read some article, or at least when it happened, I read some articles that were like, Papa John's is trying to blame the NFL for their bad sales and their them having to close stores and stuff. It wasn't the NFL. Y'all have just been canceled. But they closed, 51 stores, 51 locations last year. Was it 50 or 51? I think it was 51. Well, somewhere around there. And fell more than 10% after John's comment. Their shares fell more than 10% in value. So
I mean, he had a couple of comments.
He did.
Now, John was very bold. And sometimes when you have that much money, you are just
bold,
disconnected, confused, bamboozled. Yep. You bamboozle other people. You're just foolish.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But
yep.
I ran a little poll on my personal Facebook page today. Okay. And there are about 50 people maybe more than 50 people responded. Lots of people. So the majority of people, there were some comments that were comical and worth a read, I think, in my opinion.
Okay.
Most people, nope, never did. Always had digestive issues.
You didn't read the question.
Do you still eat Papa John's?
There you go.
No. Nope. They should shut it down and bring back Toys R Us. Haven't had Papa John's in about a year and a half. Nasty ass pizza. I stopped when he was fighting Obamacare.
Well,
there's a few people that still said yes or posted memes of them sneaking something, insinuating that they sneak and eat it. Nope, canceled, never started. I sure do.
Wow.
I'm actually gonna call him out for doing this because Taj, you're an asshole. But I know that you do. Yep.
Oh, Taj.
Nope. The funniest one to me was a gif of Kid Fury saying trash. Absolutely not. Nope. And you already knew. Nope.
Wow.
Then there was a clueless person. I'm sure that this one comment was you don't know what's going on. Yes, but I haven't had it in a while. I was like, oh, check back in. I won't call her out, but
yes.
Come on. But here's the other thing, right? The part of the reason cancel culture doesn't work is because there's no reason that everybody's gonna do it. There are people that just don't do the internet, period. Like, I know it's hard to believe for a lot of people, but they just don't. They're oblivious to everything that is trending. They don't even know what trending is.
Right. What's that? What's a hashtag? Well, that's the pound sign on my phone. All right.
And that's cool.
That's fine.
It's cool, but
we are here. So what about, okay, so Papa John's canceled, 50 stores done, closed, probably not going to reopen. Pizza Hut and Domino's seem to take advantage of their decrease to make it their increase.
Well, my question is, when these companies start to rebrand, what makes you want to go back? Because Papa John's got rid of Papa.
But if your pizza is still trash. Now, I used to eat Papa John's a while ago. A long while ago. I can't remember the last time I had it. But it sounds like half the responses you just read anyway, said, nope, that pizza was trash anyway. So, no. But even if they were to rebrand, I mean, Blockbuster tried it, and we see where they are.
No.
Not the same.
That is not the same. And no, that's not the same. Nobody has a VCR. That's why Blockbuster is here, not here.
No, but they tried to do what Redbox did. They just did it too late. They did try to do Blockbuster on demand
Where is a Redbox?
I mean, Redbox is around. Now, Redbox then, okay, so no, Blockbuster had kiosks. That's what it was. After Redbox came out with their kiosks, Blockbuster tried to compete with them, and they came out with kiosks that you could go up and rent.
Yeah, and theirs were extremely slow. I remember them.
They were slow. They were trash. They weren't.
Yeah, so that's still like this is not the same. Blockbuster's not the same. It's not the same.
So then let me ask you this. Pizza Hut, not essentially, Pizza Hut has completely rebranded itself and really used their misfortune to their benefit. I've had Pizza Hut multiple times in recent history, especially since Papa John's was canceled, and it's delicious. It's amazing. I don't remember Pizza Hut being this good.
I think there's like one Pizza Hut in Brooklyn, and it's like 2 hours away from me.
Well, Domino's that's unfortunate. Domino's also rebranded themselves.
I'm here for Domino's rebrand. I'm gonna be honest. I remember at one point that I just could not with Domino's, but I am absolutely here for everything that they have, from their sandwiches to their new garlic crust. I'm here for it.
all of their food is great. And now Domino's did used to taste like cardboard with cheese on it, government cheese on it. That's what it used to taste like.
So do you think that, I guess my question when it comes to culture, do you think that, because there are brands that people have returned to.
Chris Brown.
Do you return to them? You know, we don't even have time to go into Chris Brown, but I do think that some people canceled him. I think some people. I'm gonna be honest, and you may like my stance on it, you may not. Chris Brown and Rihanna, there were two kids that got into a spat. I think Chris. Obviously, I don't ever believe that you should hit a woman, but I absolutely believe that he was provoked like shit by Rihanna. I absolutely believe that. And I'm a little partial, but not.
So that's actually what prompted tonight's discussion, because I had a conversation with you last week that said I was having a group conversation with some friends, and they all felt very strongly that Chris Brown was still canceled for them. And I was like, but
I don't know anybody that I know nobody.
I mean, I literally just sat there flabbergasted, like, y'all are the first group that I have encountered.
Who are these people? And do they live amongst each other?
No. I was like, wait a minute.
Because let me tell you something. Since Chris Brown came back into our good graces, that incident with Rihanna happened, was that 2007 or 2008?
2007?
It may have been 6. It's fast. I don't know it. Whenever it happened, there was a year and a half that Chris Brown was in timeout. You know, and he did a lot of things, you know, just like I went off on Jussie Smollett. Remember how I went off on Jussie Smollett when that whole thing happened, and I accidentally went viral because I kept asking who lies to Robin Roberts, and I just kept asking like, who lies to Robin Roberts? I did a whole video and I just asked that for like 3 minutes. Who lies to Robin Roberts? Who does that?
Right.
Chris Brown was in the same vein. You threw a chair out of the window at Good Morning America.
Accurate.
Before your interview with Robin Roberts. Who does that? Who does that?
You got to go sit in timeout.
So he was in timeout.
Right.
But I tell you now that since he came back, there has not been a month that Chris Brown does not have a single on every radio station, pop and R&B in the country. Since that moment. What's that?
Or featured, on somebody else's.
So he will have a single and be featured on somebody else's. He is always in a rotation.
Accurate.
Always. Undoubtedly. Even with the stupidest songs. I woke up in Chris Brown's body. Really? That's a really dumb song. But it's so catchy.
Completely different songs. You went to woke up in whoever's body, and I went to wet. You literally actually say the same.
That's also a very stupid song.
The same thing.
It's one word.
One word, the entire
and, you know, and I always do this to people, and y'all just don't realize that they be playing you in the industry, because Wet, that song, Pills and Automobiles, Wet, is the exact same song as OT Genesis Thick. It's the same song.
It's the same. It's the same song.
They came out at the same time. They're the same song, and you're saying one word.
Same song. But Chris Brown is, well, never mind. I won't say that. But
so, here's a question I have for you and your 5 friends. If 5 people have canceled you, are you canceled?
You said if Black people have canceled you?
If 5 people have canceled you.
No. Which leads me into R. Kelly, because way more than 5 people have canceled him. And allegedly, he now cannot pay college tuition back child support.
He paid child support last week, actually. He paid
did.
$62,500. And because he paid it, the judge granted him a new trial to fight somebody else that accused him. And I think, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. We know R. Kelly is a sick man. He's done some really sick things. But I know one thing about this country. It's true. If the industry or you piss the wrong person off, they will come for you. They will come for you and they will end you. And I really do believe that because I don't believe in that documentary. I just fundamentally can't do it because it was a bunch of propaganda and bullshit. Now, R. Kelly is still trash, like if he's holding women across against their will and he's, like if you're doing that now at the same time, and we're not going to relitigate this. We did a 3-part series on it. My stance. It's very firm. It's the same. You're 37 years old. You take your grown ass home.
Right.
You take your grown ass home. That's what you do. This man is not. No. We're not gonna do that. But
do you like teenagers?
I don't think that cancel culture is effective because we could not viably cancel R. Kelly without canceling the checks for so many other people because he wrote so much music.
Yeah,
we really can't, and it's not effective. Like if all we had ever had was streaming, then canceling R. Kelly would have been possible,
right?
But if you have already bought his music, and your mom, if there's anything else, I'm gonna find that clip and I'm gonna put it up on our Facebook this week. Because if you want to see something funny, and that we're rapping right now, so I'll share this story. We did a 3-part Unpacking R. Kelly series. Tiff's mom joined the panel for the last session. I asked her if she was canceling R. Kelly. She said no. Such a straight face. Our entire panel lost it. No, I am not. That's exactly what she said. No, I am not. I was
like, oh. And she just kept repeating it.
Yep. No, I
am not.
For what? She really wanted to know for what.
She really did.
And I think that's where we got to leave this here. But I really feel like we veered off a little bit. But I think rightfully still, maybe we need a second part of this because I really think that
it's church people.
I mean, I think that there is, just like we have when it comes to being on the same page about voting and certain things like that, we are not on the same page when it comes to cancel culture, and we're not. And so while you may think it's viable and necessary for somebody to completely cancel somebody because it's just disgusting, you should be ashamed of so we're going to shame other people because they don't think like you. To me, you should be canceled if you think everybody should do what you do because you think your way. And we have the same problem right now in this country with abortion. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I won't do that. I will say though, since you brought up R. Kelly, which I haven't, I had some friends. It's always good to wrap with the funny story, right? There's a couple funny things that are really, really funny about the R. Kelly situation. His wife is a fucking liar. His ex-wife, Drea Kelly. Sorry, I gotta call a thing. And I've interviewed her. That interview is available somewhere on the internet. You can probably find it. But like the footage after the documentary, she was going in on him on the documentary, and then the next thing the clip, they released the clip where she's in the song in her Uber. Oh, this my baby daddy, happy people, yeah, like girl.
This was old. That's an old clip. That's an old
from
clip.
The year before.
I'm just telling you what people said. Okay.
And so, but I and I think, like I said, I'm not going to relitigate the documentary, but I had friends that were just like, oh, we gonna boycott what? So, they were a little to the extreme. But yesterday, a friend of mine just started singing from his You Saved Me album. She's like, how could somebody write an album like this and be such a monster? And I'm like, yo, I feel you. Listen, You Saved Me. I played it yesterday twice because it's an amazing song. And I sang it at the top of my lungs. And it's just like, I wondered while I was singing it, like, how could he do that?
Wow.
Because the song is amazing. But, I tell the truth. If I listen to it, I don't listen to R. Kelly regularly, but I'm not turning him off.
I'm gonna be honest,
because that to me that is so extreme. Oh my God, I can't. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You're just doing that because people are watching you.
I'm gonna be honest. I have resisted the urge, and I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to resist the urge, because at this point I paid for it. I paid for it years ago when it came out, and I bought it. But Chocolate Factory to date is still one of my favorite R. Kelly albums.
TP2.com?
Well, I said one of, but Chocolate Factory front to back had hits. But I own that CD, so I can take it out and put it.
I own them all. And that's kind of sad, but Sex in the Kitchen? By the Buttered Walls?
You gotta come back. You gotta bring it back in. Here's my last and final thought on this, and I think you're right. We may need to have another show on this, because I still want to talk about church people not canceling church people for some of these same sins, quote unquote, that these other people are, that the church people would call secular, that they're committing in the church. But whatever, that's another show. All I would like for people like R. Kelly to do, one of the things I'll say, because there are many things I would like for him to stop doing. But one thing that seems to be becoming a trend is you going to court saying you're illiterate, so you couldn't read the form.
Oh, but he can't read.
He can't.
That was his brother said R. Kelly can read. He just can't pronounce the words. So which is it? His own brother said that.
Because now Kodak Black is saying he didn't understand this firearm form.
No, he didn't understand the word litigation. And have you seen Kodak Black? That's not really hard to believe.
But here's my thing.
R. Kelly can't really read, but I just want to know how he wrote all these songs.
This is not defense, is all I'm saying. Stop using that as a defense. I feel
like you're being judgmental because everybody's not as learned as you. Some people really are dumb.
I feel like R. Kelly has enough people to tell him, take your ass to court. I feel like Kodak Black has one friend to tell him, you're not supposed to get a firearm at all. Why you got a form?
I have one word for you, and we started the show with it. We'll end with it. Nigga. That is what R. Kelly and Kodak Black are.
They are both very because Kodak Black's PR team, this threw a monkey wrench with them because he had been canceled for his Lauren London comments. And then he started donating money, but I don't listen to him because I don't understand him and he looks like a roach.
Wow. I just think he has a face that only his mother could love. But
roaches, I'm sure.
Wow. On that note, Tiff, how do they keep up with you?
Well, if you would like to keep up with me, you can do so at Tiff Lanelle everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.com, Snapchat, all the places. That's if you want to keep up with me. I promise I won't call you a roach. I might call you, beautifully challenged if you are, but.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, what she said. I'm Alex Unmuted everywhere. And that's us. We are back here next Wednesday. This podcast is available everywhere a podcast is available, like we said at the beginning of the show. I'm spent.
I see.
I'm spent.
I am as well. It's been a day. But I enjoyed the discussion with you. If you want
All right, we out.
I'm
Y'all
about to
be great. Have a wonderful week.
I can't with you. Jesus.